Morning, everybody.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with Disaster. Um,
Sunny but cold Tuesday morning in February.
yeah, yeah, it's funny because now we're getting like the sunshine. It's like God's punishing us because it's like, oh, we'll give you sunshine, but we're still gonna make it freezing.
Yeah, it
Um,
is cold, cold, cold this morning.
yeah. The
But
good news is we're
yeah,
supposed to get a nice warm snap here. Tomorrow's supposed to hit about I think mid 50s,
40s I think.
40s tomorrow. Yeah,
Mid 40s. We should be pushing 50 later this week. Then get cold in the weekend.
yeah.
Then warm, then cold, warm, cold, warm, cold.
And then I think it was funny though because a couple of weeks ago everybody was expecting another snowstorm, and that's kind of
Yeah,
like
never
tip
materialized.
yeah, typical Buffalo fashion is usually all right. We're just when you think the winter's over, we're gonna hit you with one more storm. So,
No,
but to hear
according
that
to
there's gonna be another warm front next week is what's really
yeah, I mean I was checking out the extended forecast and by all intents and purposes, we might be done with winter. The groundhog may have actually got it right this year.
yeah. We should keep them on payroll for a little longer, you know. Um,
Get that road to job.
yeah, he's been around for I can't think of his name, but
Puxatawny Phil
yeah,
or
yeah.
Dunkirk Dave?
Putzkatani is my
Yeah.
go-to.
Well, that one said early spring, and then Dunkirk Dave said more winter, but they shine lights on these animals, so,
Yeah,
you know.
you never know. But that's why we thought it'd be fitting, because spring being just around the corner, and I think almost we could probably expect spring even sooner than normal, I would think, just based on the weather conditions. But we thought it'd be a great time to talk about some of the services that we do,
Yep.
as far as like deep cleans and things like that. And we'll kind of break down some of the services that we provide,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
could help get
Go
your
a little bit over our duct cleaning, our carpet cleaning,
yeah
our general cleaning services, and some tips and tricks for those of you at home who may not own properties or have office space. Just a few things you can do around your own house to
yeah
facilitate your spring cleaning this year.
yeah. And I think everybody around this time is, at least I know my own mother is. She's probably watching right now. But I know every spring she's, going through every room, making sure everything's,
Yep.
top shape for the spring, for the summer, having family over, things like that. So, um, we thought perfect situation. We're gonna kind of break down that here in just a moment. Um, Now, one thing that I want to reiterate too is it's not something we do on like a monthly basis. We're not technically like just like going to set up a monthly cleaning service because obviously that's not what we're in. That's not our
Yeah, it's not a
nature of our
forte.
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you had, per se, an office building that hasn't really had like a real deep clean, and
Mhm.
let's say they have, I don't know, 300 employees and they have like a lunch area and they
Mhm.
have multiple areas where they have cubicles set up and things like that. We can do like a one time or even on a yearly basis, annually, where we could come in and we could do something of that nature where we clean your entire office building.
As well as medical facilities, doctors' offices, things like that,
Yeah,
that always do need proper sanitation and cleaning.
yeah. No, great. Actually, that's smart. And plus, to further what you're saying too, those places cannot afford to be out of like service
Right,
for a minute.
right.
So, I think keeping hospitals up there is probably our number one priority.
Absolutely.
And then I know you had some stuff here too. I noticed we had some notes here on like soil classifications, but I
Yes.
wanted to see. Um, I don't know if you want to maybe go over that a minute, or if you wanted. You don't have to. I just
Yeah,
don't.
happy to. It's a few little soil classifications, like things to watch out for, tips and tricks for you guys. There are things like surface litter, hair, lint, crumbs, little bits. Those should always be picked up, brushed off, lint roller,
Yeah,
vacuumed. Loose materials. Say you're like me, you have cats,
yeah,
or you did some work, you have drywall dust, what have you. Those
hmm
definitely got to get in there, vacuum everything off, use a stiff bristle brush to scrub up the carpet to bring up the
yeah,
soils to get them vacuumed up. Then we go into things like soluble soils that require liquids to remove them. That's things like fruit juices that can be acidic, sodas, some
hmm
foods, things like alkaline, the concrete dust, powdered carpet deodorizers,
yeah,
urine if you have
yeah.
animals in your home.
I just have a quick question. Sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
about the brush because it was really interesting. Um, I just purchased a new couch and it's called pilling. I think it is.
Yes, pilling.
Um,
That's when from regular wear and tear, just sitting on it. You can sit on your pants too.
Yeah.
Wool, you get it. We get the little balls of
Yeah.
fiber that you roll them up, and the little balls form. You gotta like pick them off, or
Yeah.
they have these little
Combs for them
yeah,
that
these little like
actually.
razor combs that you can scrape it all off and get it smoothed down evenly.
Yeah. It's just interesting how that kind of works. Sorry, I'll let you carry
Oh
on, but
no,
that's
no
kind of a
worries.
nice tool to have, especially for almost acts like a lint brush, but for
Yeah,
your couch.
yeah, keep
So,
things clean. And I have a microfiber couch,
mm,
which I bought specifically because my cats tend to scratch furniture.
yeah,
This one they don't. They don't get their claws into it, so they don't tear it
they
up.
don't feel the need to have to,
Yeah,
like,
it's not as satisfying for them. Like with a wool or natural fiber couch, they can really sink their claws and yank.
then they'll really be into that. Yeah.
Then they shred.
Yep.
We also have a few things like neutral soils, like salts and sugars, digestive soils, which are things like blood or milk, eggs, glue,
Hmm. Like
like
mustard is always the worst.
mustard. Oh yeah, it stains it yellow.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like everybody has their home remedy for mustard. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, there's a home remedy for blood. Oh, use lemon juice to get blood out of there.
vinegar works really well, actually.
Although one thing to be careful of, I did find high acidic things like bleach
Yeah.
can actually melt natural fibers like wool, cotton, or silk.
Interesting.
It'll actually dissolve the surface away. So be very, very careful if you're just going to, I'm going to pour some bleach water on that.
Yeah.
So you not only run the risk of staining, but you run the risk of melting
Yeah.
your carpeting
I
or
would almost think
upholstery.
avoid bleach at all costs if you can.
Yeah, pretty much.
And,
Pretty
you
much. I
know,
mean, we have far more suitable chemical compounds to use to
yeah.
clean things that
Yeah.
don't do that.
And like he was mentioning too, obviously you always want to do like even with something that's not as high concentrate as like bleach, always want to test like a small surface area,
Yes.
maybe even underneath somewhere where nobody would notice, just to make sure that it's not going to discolor it,
Yep.
change the coloration on it. So,
An interesting thing we found out. We don't recommend doing this at home, but one of the ways that professionals determine the type of fiber in carpets and furniture is called a burn test, where
yeah,
you
that's right.
take
That's
little
right.
threads of it and you hold it in an alligator clip and you burn it with a lighter. And depending on how it burns, the residue left behind,
Yeah.
the smell it causes can tell you if it's like a natural fiber, if it's polyurethane, if it's a plastic derived nylon, what
Yeah.
have you. And I found that was actually really really cool.
Yeah. No, that is pretty
So
interesting. Like everything, I guess, burns at a certain rate. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So like it's having like that on paper and knowing how each product will actually burn as opposed to
yeah.
others. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, it
Yeah, there's
is.
also like acid test where you take something, you drop it in bleach or a type of acid, and depending on how it melts, you can
Yeah.
determine
Nice.
the type of fiber you're using as well.
Nice. Nice. Oh, another thing too. We wanted to let people know. It was funny. Our both of our guesses were off on duct cleaning. Like I thought it was like 10 years. Totally wrong.
I thought it was like once a year. I
Yeah,
was totally wrong.
it's actually every 3 to 5 years. This is not necessarily in your home, but this could be. It could be. If you have a pretty decent sized place,
Mhm.
maybe multiple stories. But they do recommend like commercially having your ducts cleaned every 3 to 5 years, to avoid. You got to think too, if you got like 100 employees and they're all breathing in this recycled
Yep.
air almost like,
Yeah, make sure your filters are cleaned, and
yeah,
I would say I would even do it maybe every 2 years.
yeah,
If nothing else, just let SERVPRO have us come in. We do duct cleanings. We are great with HVAC cleanings,
yeah,
filter replacements, getting all the dust and particulates out of your
yeah,
ductwork. No John McClane's crawling around in there, but we do
yeah,
get it vacuumed out and cleaned up real nice.
yeah. And wouldn't that be really horrible though to like, just to be in a stale, like bad enough to be able to sit all day. I know I can't sit all day. I got to be up and moving. I got to be on the road. But like, if you're gonna be in like a cubicle working in an office building, you want fresh air. You don't want that. You know.
Yeah, especially in the winter, you can't open the windows since
Yeah.
it's freezing outside. You're
Yeah.
kind of stuck with whatever air gets pumped through that everybody in there's breathing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely want to make sure your ducts are clean.
Yeah.
Plus, there's allergens involved, especially around hay fever season. Things get kicked up, blown around in there, and
Yeah.
can cause a lot of unnecessary grumpiness in office settings for
Yeah.
sure.
My advice would be to keep a file in your file cabinet, just with like where you keep your taxes, all your other stuff. and just label it duct clean. And
Yeah.
then you basically just every year that you put your receipt in there, all right, I got like 2.5 years
Yeah.
between now and, so that way you're not, because it's not something you're going to think about.
No, you typically don't unless something goes wrong.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of a nice way to just kind of like keep it in a file. That way you can keep track of it
Yeah.
and just kind of know when it's coming up to have something done like that.
No,
So,
for sure. I know one of the other things we want to talk about was area rug cleanings.
oh yeah,
You had mentioned stopping out at a place that had a lot of Oriental carpets.
yeah, Roycroft actually. And anybody that's ever been to Roycroft knows there's quite a bit of history there. And not only that, when you go in there, it's just you don't even you feel like you're visiting somebody's family. Like, I don't know, like it doesn't feel like you left your place. It's like very welcoming. It's just like feels like home, you
Yeah.
know? And what the first thing I noticed there is they had just from the one room, I think I counted like maybe 12 rugs. And that is something also we do. We do Oriental rug cleaning, drop offs. Sometimes you'll even see the sign in front of our store out here on 97 Evans. But if you have any old Oriental rugs that just need like a little spruce, little pickup, I know obviously coming in from winter all year, walking in with your feet with all that crappy snow,
Salt and
all that
everything.
salt.
Yeah, that
Sometimes,
salt can really ruin a rug.
yeah, it can, especially if it's like you can visually see pieces of salt, like
Yeah.
it's just going to slowly eat away at it. So, and not always like your general cleaners that you have at your home wouldn't always be sufficient enough. So, if you guys do want to have them professionally cleaned, just let us know. So, is there what else are we missing? I think we covered it. I think.
No, that was basically in a nutshell. You know, we want to make sure that you guys are using the proper chemicals when you're cleaning your homes. So if you're doing deep cleans, make sure you're watching the pH or acidity balance in the
Yeah.
products you use and the types of fabrics you're putting them on. We covered our HVAC cleaning services and ensuring that you're getting them done within proper intervals. So we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about different types of soil and solubility.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all we had planned for today.
Yeah. And I guess the only other recommendation I would have would be plenty of ventilation.
Yeah. No, for
If you're
sure.
going
Make
to be
sure you're
dropping
using
serious
your PPE.
chemicals down,
Yeah. Goggles, gloves,
yeah,
respirator if you're really getting into it, open windows at the
yeah,
very, very least.
yeah. Don't just skim through the directions too. Like read them thoroughly because all of a sudden you don't want to like wake up on the living room floor at like 7 o'clock at night.
One of the things that was very, very heavily emphasized for me when I was first becoming a pest control technician was label is law.
Yeah,
Always follow the label directions. Like 100%.
yeah,
Don't say, oh, I can just pour this in. I'll be in my upstairs bedroom while the window's closed, but I'm going to use this ammonia cleaner,
yeah,
because then you're going to be a little bit loopy.
yeah, yeah,
So make sure you are following directions. Make sure you are using the proper PPE. I don't know if anybody out there has ever gotten an acid burn on your hands. I have. It is not pleasant.
no, I'm sure it sounds horrible.
No, it is definitely, you're pouring vinegar and baking soda on yourself to try to
Yeah,
counteract that chemical reaction, and you end up with a permanent scar. So,
it's got to be an
yeah.
interesting. It's got to be kind of like chemical like injury like that. I feel like even the hospitals would really almost be limited what they can do to help you
Yeah,
with
you
that.
have to neutralize, the acid or the base that is on you, and then after that, it's just healing. But
Yeah.
one of the big problems is a lot of these chemicals leach into your skin, into your system very easily,
Hmm.
and some of the fastest places for absorption not only your hands, the top of your head, and your groin area. So if you're got it on your hands and you touch your head,
Yeah.
or you go to the bathroom and you didn't wash your hands
Yeah.
right, you're transferring that stuff into your system. It's going to absorb much, much faster.
Yeah.
So for heavy, heavy cleanings, when you're using heavy duty chemical, it really is in your best interest to trust a professional
Yeah.
to do it for you. It may cost you a little bit extra money out of pocket,
Yeah.
but can you put a price on your health and safety? And
That's
your
true.
family's health and safety.
Yeah.
You want to make sure there's nothing left around where your pets can get into it,
Yeah.
or young children can get into it,
Yep.
or anybody can touch it and touch their face, or
Yeah.
end up ingesting that chemical into their system.
And that's something you probably had to be very cautious of when you were doing exterminating is
Very much so.
if somebody had multiple pets at their place and setting up bait stations and all that kind of stuff, just probably have
Very,
to be
very
very
much so. Yes.
so cool. Awesome guys. Well I think we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into our wheel of names. See who our winner is. Who do we got in? Oh, Kim O'Sullivan. Lisa, good morning, everybody. Yes, it is an awesome place.
An interesting thing about the Roycroft Inn, if anybody's ever been there, you'll notice they have the red terracotta roof on them.
Oh yeah,
I worked at a company, we made those. So every one of those tiles is handcrafted.
by Don Turner.
Well, no, not
No.
specifically. I mostly boxed them up afterwards. But yeah, those are all handcrafted tiles.
That's pretty sweet. I didn't know that. Our winner is 617.
All right, let's see who we got today. Who's the big winner?
Michelle Bone from Rocky Gosella, Allstate Insurance. So
Okay.
Michelle, yeah, Michelle, congratulations if you're watching. Don or I will drop off a double prize for you. If you are not watching, we will still bring you a prize by in person. And I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Hopefully, you guys found this useful. And
If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. We do read them. If you have any cleaning tips or tricks for your own home that you'd like to share, please drop them in the comments.
yeah,
I think everybody would like to get a little extra information because it is time to do the big spring clean coming up.
yeah, yeah, we want to know like I guess we want to know like the worst stains. What would you guys use to, I guess your home remedy
Yeah,
that
what
you
are
would
your home
use?
remedies? Lemon or
Yeah. So
soda, club soda, soda water to get things out. Yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what you guys like to use.
yeah. But all right, guys, we'll have a good week, and we will see you here back next Tuesday at 10:10.
Yep.
All right,
Have a great week, everybody.
we'll see you then.